call to order and do the roll call.
Smith.
Here.
Heaton. Fisher.
Here.
Glass.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Sherman. Tucker.
J.C. Keaton. Does everybody know J.C.? The rest of us have been here before. Sure. Okay. Turn our attention to minutes, and since we didn't meet in August, we just have July minutes to approve.
Make a motion, we approve July meeting minutes.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the July minutes. Roll call vote.
Hanson.
Yes.
Tucker.
Yes.
Glass.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Heaton.
And then we return to July financials.
Well, at July 31, we had $98,239 in the bank cash, and we had CDs in the amount of $414,189. For July, we collected $69,714.66, expended $77,084.22. For a $7,369 expenses over revenues, and we have encumbered $189,173.61. As far as revenues are concerned, had $25,000 collected for ball field rental, $22,000 for youth sports, had a little bit of interest, and had $41,000 in sales tax transfers. As far as expenditures are concerned, we had personnel services at $18,456, materials and supplies at $10,983, other services and supplies at $9,100, and capital outlay expenditures at $23,612, and debt service at $14,931. The capital improvement items were carryovers from the previous budget year. On items that we had purchased. And I don't know that any of the other expenditures really looked that out of line to what a normal month would be. Utility bills, of course, during the summer are high at $7,782. Had property expenditures of $2,400. And that would pretty much be my report for July.
Vote on page 8, what is on the capital outlay, what is the professional turf?
Okay, that's our new drag
That's
that we
the-
bought.
okay,
That's
all
the
right.
new, yeah, the new
Good.
nail drag, smooth drag that we got.
Hey, back up a second. What page is the mail drive?
Do you say eight?
Page 8,
8?
yeah. Number 01-4138.
Third from the bottom.
Fourth one down, third from the bottom.
Oh, okay. That's the bond credit deal. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, thanks. I was thinking of something we dragged.
Oh, sorry.
That's good, thanks. All right, thank you. Yes, I'm good. Make a motion to approve them.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the July financials. Roll call vote.
Glass,
Yes?
Tucker,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Keating. Fisher,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
At the end of August 31, we had $116,164 in cash, $414,427 in investment CDs. For the month of August, we collected $48,830, expended $65,546. Year-to-date, that makes it $118,545 in collections, $146,019 in expenditures, with $165,063 for encumbrances. As far as the revenues are concerned, sales tax was down slightly from the month before. Had a little bit less in youth sports collected. Of course, we didn't have the ball field rental, which was tournaments or something.
What, I'm sorry?
The ball field rental was down quite a bit.
I'm assuming that 25,000 is cost.
Yeah, that's.
That
fine.
it was, yes,
Yeah.
it was, I'm sorry, yes, it was. So that was down. As far as expenditures are concerned, we had $20,352 in personnel, $8,833 in materials and supplies, $6,497 in other services and charges, no capital outlay expenditures, and building payment at $29,862.98. The reason that is 29,000 is they would have been, probably just the way it hit in processing to make sure it was paid on time. There was 2 debt service payments.
Where are we at? I'm finishing that up.
End of this budget year, I believe, July 2019. It's either, I think July 2019 is the last payment.
So was there more cash in August than there was in July? And we spent more than we took in August.
On the first page.
Yeah. Would have just been our cash flow. I mean, cash is separate than, what the actual, when we realize the expenditures, it's just the cash flow would be the difference.
I just didn't know if I ever looked at 2 months side by side like this.
Yeah, no,
I think that's the point is we spent 16,000 more than we took in.
right.
So how did our cash go up?
Well, depending on how the cash flow, some of the expenditures, the cash that we took in is accrued cash, not actual collections that would have been accrued during that month. And then the collections would have come in the following month.
So if that's the case, the extra debt payment, 14,000 or whatever, that didn't actually come out then.
So that was actually paid then. We work on a modified cash accrual basis, so part of our expenditures are accruals, and part of them are actual expenditures. It's a combination of the system that we use for our accounting.
Is there any way to have these produced, or to have last year's, half year's salary, what we spent, what we put in last year, the same month?
It would have to be individually, manually produced. The system, my computer system won't do it, unfortunately. It'd be great to have it, but my computer system, that's not a report that I get. We would have to manually produce that.
Probably should be, some of the stuff I did, out last year's,
Yeah.
this year.
I mean, that's what we,
Yeah.
where were we last year? So. But yeah, that accrual and all that other just makes most of us confused. At least it does.
Yeah.
Courtney, the spring ball fields, what we doing there, what is that?
Well, I had to have him come out a couple times, that infield over there, I was trying to kill out all of that, see what I could salvage on that infield. He had to do that like 2 or 3 times for me, and then, just a fall spray of the weeds on all the ball fields. So, but he came out and did that infield a couple extra times.
Which one's over on baseball?
The southeast field over there that we resodded last year, didn't really take, and there's a lot of
Lots of stuff around here.
stuff that need to be going.
There's a lot of people having to till soil, even though they were doing no-till this year. It's been a bad year for weeds. Great year for moisture. Anybody have any other questions on August financials?
Charged quite a bit to spray it, didn't he?
Do what?
He charged quite a bit.
Yeah, and, Joe and I had talked that we're hiring the new guy, we're hoping to get him to be able to spray, to be able to be certified, to do the spraying himself, that saves us a lot of money, so. Give him some training and give him some classes.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the August financials. Roll call vote.
Glass,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Keaton.
Okay, Courtney, you're up.
Soccer kicked off, our phone numbers this year was 159 compared to last year's 198. We're down just a little bit because there are two 12 and under travel teams that have traveled to Enid now. So that took some of our kids there, but still the numbers, aren't bad. Our flag football numbers were only down 3 from last year, so pretty steady. Our numbers, of course, will increase in the spring. So that's going good. Been playing Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and football on Saturdays. We're gonna start co-ed volleyball. Well, co-ed softball's going on right now on Wednesday nights. The numbers are real that we've only got 3 teams this year for that. I don't know if everybody's just getting older and don't want to play, or what it is. Co-ed volleyball will start up next, and that'll be the deadline for that's October 10th. We have hired a property maintenance guy. He started last Thursday. His name is Kyle Stubblefield. I think he'll be really good for us. He's a younger guy that's pretty eager, willing to do just about any jump in and get after it. So I think that'll be good. Had a few building leaks again. I had Ty Flying out come and look at the building and see what we needed to do. He felt like it's just kind of been band-aided for the last 5 or 10 years. So he's gonna, give me some numbers to see what we need to do to fix it. I don't know what happened.
There are two kinds of roofs. Those that leak and those that don't.
From 15 years ago. That's all I have.
Anybody else have any questions for me? City council report?
Don't have a lot to report. I'm not sure how much the rec park is interested in it, but it is one of our big topics of conversation right now is the Alva swimming pool and what we're going to be doing with that, how we can make the repairs that are required, and we are still working on a plan for that. Initial cost estimates from swimming pool companies is anywhere from $1.5 million to $2.5 million. Now it's a pretty big difference. Then we weren't officially taking bids, so they didn't really sharpen their pencils. They just threw me some numbers, but that kind of lets me know ballpark of where we're at and what we're going to do. On a side note on that, I have been visiting with our state representative, and hopefully he can help us work with the Oklahoma Health Department to be able to open up next year. Right now, we do anticipate being able to open up next year, but it would only be with a plan in hand to get everything repaired. I wouldn't expect them to do it with anything less.
Joe Don, do you have any idea how many kids what the attendance is at the pool every day?
Had some rough estimates. There are twice a year that obviously the pool is very heavily used. Pack the Park and 4th of July. It's packed, standing room only. The rest of the time, maybe looking at 100 to maybe 200 over a course of a day. Maybe not necessarily at one time, but just over the course of a day, and that would be a good day.
100 a day. How many days is it open?
Roughly, it's open from Labor Day to Memorial Day.
108 days?
Yeah.
What kind of revenue?
It's $111 per swim at $2 million fix.
Yeah.
I said it again.
That's $111 per swim, per person,
In a year.
each time.
In a year. You would have paid that.
Yeah.
It's
It's a lot.
very expensive. Swimming pools are extremely expensive to operate. They don't make money.
When was the last time, like a big overhaul occurred? I mean, I've been here.
I don't know that major overhauls has happened since 1939.
I was gonna say,
Say,
it's
we might
pretty
be
old.
too late.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know of a major, there's been, of course, the slide would have been a huge addition.
Right, yeah.
But other than that, I don't know of a major overhaul that's happened.
Is the structure of the pool okay? Is it all plumbing or?
No, part of the deep end is settled, the skimmers aren't level. We'd have to go back in and level the skimming out. Then there's a lot of plumbing. Codes from 1939 do not match codes in 2019. All that would have to be corrected. There's just a lot of work that would need to be done.
Did the country club fix or?
That's why, because I'm irritated by that, because I'm in the country club, and they spend a lot of money, and if you break it down by the amount of people that swim out there, was the dumbest damn thing they've done in the history of the place.
Yeah, it is, swimming pools they're a quality of life issue. They are not if you were to put the pencil to it and do it as a revenue source or an income and expense, you wouldn't do it financially.
Well, it's no different than this.
Yeah, it's a quality of life issue.
So are you kicking around abandoning that and doing something out here? Is that what you were?
I'm throwing it out. I've teased Courtney about it, but that's not really,
It's not really fun.
we're not.
That's all I'm saying.
I teased Courtney about it today a little bit just because I knew it'd get her goat, but it's not, we really don't have a good plan at this point in time. There's at least one more pool company that I want to talk with, and we may even wait and go out for proposals for qualifications and advertise publicly, nationally about getting somebody in to see about fixing it.
When you say fix it, are you saying like go in and just gut it and basically start from the ground up? Like take the whole thing out or fix what you have, like the structure that you have?
It'd be a combination, partially trying to use structure we've got right now. I mean, these are all just thoughts. Maybe partially trying to do that, adding some new. Bathhouse has got to be completely redone. None of it's ADA accessible. That's going to have to be completely redone. The pumping, the filtration system and everything is on its last legs. That will have to be completely redone. The chemical system has to be automated. The circulation system has to be changed. There's just a lot that has to be done and evaluated, and we've been looking at it for a month and a half now. We don't have a good plan yet as to what we would do. I've talked to people about just abandoning it and building new.
Would you build as big as you have now?
2.5 million won't get us what we've got now.
So
That pool is a 500,000.
Cut back on employees and lifeguards too, which would.
I mean, that pool is a 500,000 gallon pool. We wouldn't be able to build anywhere near that. And if I had my preferences, I would probably try to tie in a splash pad with it that could be used. Where a splash pad, if it's segregated out of the pool, it doesn't have to be lifeguarded. And I could open the pool earlier for little kids. I could stay open a little later for little kids to give them something to splash around in. It wouldn't cost me a whole lot extra in labor to do that. Right.
Have to have
Huh?
horizontal. A splash pad doesn't have to have any.
As long as it's not connected with the swimming pool.
So like if you had it on an offsite. Like,
Right. If we built a splash pad out here that was a walk up, push the button,
Right,
top.
like on a timer.
Yeah, put it on the timer, they walk up, they hit the button, it splashes water around. No, there's not a lifeguard required. But if they can get from the splash pad to the swimming pool, there'd have to be lifeguards out there. Somehow we'd want to try to use the same circulation system because splash pad water, splash pads, if you do it where it's non-circulating versus just goes down the drain, pumping the water down the drain is cheaper to build. It's more expensive to operate because we're processing water that's just going down the sewer lines. You can put a recirculation system on it where water will reuse, but that's a little bit more expensive to construct. But if I can do the same thing and tie it into a swimming pool, I'm not out that much more money to recirculate the water.
So do you have a committee or somebody helping figure out what's out?
Up until now, it's just been me putting my thoughts together. I've been talking to the city, we talked to the city, park and building committee, that's who we've run it through. But right now, all this information gathering right now has just been me.
Seems like a pretty big deal to me.
Yeah. And that was one of the questions that I just posed to the building committee Monday night when we had the park and building meeting. What direction do you want me to go? Just start putting together information. I don't want to waste a lot of time because it's valuable time to be working on. We've got so many other projects that we are working on.
So on those old WPA projects out there, very many, like,
There's not a lot of financial help out there to get with those projects. Fortunately, we're not on the historical rolls. I worked with the swimming pool in Frederick that was on the historical rolls. It was an old WPA project. Tripled the cost on anything that we did.
without getting more financial help?
Without getting any more financial help, yes. So fortunately, we don't have to go through the Historical Society, because if it's on the historical rolls, everything you do has to go through the Historical Society. They get final say. And I mean, they shut us down in Frederick just because we couldn't reproduce the windows they wanted us to have, and we couldn't go back in with a modern window for the bathhouse.
But it doesn't get you out of any modern regulations either.
No. Nope. But that's just the biggest thing that, that's one of the big things we're working on. We got several other projects. And they just started working on 5th Street. We've resurfaced Barnes, Church Street. Just started on 5th. 5th is going to be it'll be a pretty major project. We've got it torn up. We finally found a spot where we could quit tearing it up to go back and fix it. Right now, and that we're at that point. But I'm also going to be moving my water lines out of the street into the right of way. So we're waiting on that now, because we'll have to run new service lines to all those addresses, and I'll have to do that before I put any more concrete down. And for what we've got torn up right now, it will be going back as a concrete street. Keeps me employed, what can I say?
Any other remarks or inquiries from the board members?
I did have one. Courtney and I talked briefly. Is there any other time we could do this meeting, like a noon meeting? And I thought of this before J.C. I didn't know she was involved when she was at school. Or 4:30 or something like that, where it doesn't just kill your whole evening. Because with me and my 3 boys, it's getting to be tough to get up here every time.
Wednesday's tough for me as well with my youth group.
Would it be better if we did 4:30 or?
It would
noon?
help me if we did a little bit earlier, but I'm just one.
Right, and I'm just one also. I'm just throwing it out there for.
Like, we have a youth group starting in just a few minutes.
And right now, we can set the meeting whenever the board wants to set the meeting. A full year's meetings have to be established in December. So December, we have to publish what our meetings are going to be for the next calendar year, and when they're going to be, what time they're going to be, where they're going to be held at. If we change something, we couldn't vote on it tonight because it's not an agenda item, but if we were to change something before December, and say the board decided they wanted to meet on a Tuesday night instead of a Wednesday night, what would end up happening is if we had the published meetings, they would all be just regular meetings.
Yes.
But it's the board's preference as far as time and.
I just want to open up dialogue.
Yeah.
I just know My house, particular Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays are out because we're up here, or junior high ball game, and Friday, high school ball games. Wednesday's about the only day we can do it. I just hate to, Wednesday's the day I usually catch up on mowing and other stuff. I gotta jump off my mower, change clothes, come up here for an hour and go back. It's just. But I'm self-employed. I've got a lot of flexibility, and I know Craig is, and Troy is.
What Troy used to live in 5?
So I'm usually there until 6 or 6:30 or 7, so I have to cancel out early to come to these, so.
I mean, it's something that it's been brought up, we can talk about it, we can have it as an agenda item to be voted on at the next meeting. And we don't have to make a change.
How early can I be here? It depends on the day.
Well, I mean, if it's still on Wednesday,
3:30. Well, I can leave the building at 3:30.
so the 4:30 you were talking about on Wednesday, you would
I was just
work for
throwing that
you,
out there.
but it would be better for you, a lot better for you.
Even 5 would be better for me,
I mean, because we've been,
but I can make anything
because we
work.
haven't had any long meetings for a while, but, I mean, so,
Chad,
I mean, because I can even plan to go back and see patients from
Yeah.
5 to 6.
That would be normally, with us living out so far out, I'd have to know way in advance, like to get to help and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, student kids.
I mean,
places,
I guess I could
that
always
sort of
kick
thing.
them out of the gym.
Get the headlights on,
That's
stick
right.
them in the gym. Had that before.
Mine are out on the playground
Oh,
right
good.
now.
Mine are all in 3 different directions tonight, so.
The more gym wraps we have instead of computer.
So do you guys want to just put that as an agenda item then next time and vote on
Yeah,
something?
let's put that in to discuss, maybe even the 4:30 you were talking about. I mean, that would be,
Well, the agenda item will be, it'll be probably just discussion and action on meeting time and place. That way it leaves it open to whatever, won't nail us down to a time, won't nail us down to a date or anything else, and it'll allow us some flexibility.
Does that work for you, Joe? I mean, 4:30 on.
I'll be here.
thank you. Anybody else? And we are adjourned.